Hey everyone, it's Jack, and today I'm going to take a look at DTOS. Yes, this is Derek Taylor's post install script for Arch Linux. So DTOS, I think, stands for Distrotube OS, which is kind of sarcastically named on Derek's part because he knows it's not an OS, but rather an install script to install Xmonad. And now I believe even gives you provisions to install Qtile and Awesome. So that is cool as well. And even though personally I'm not a window manager type of person, I really am intrigued with Derek's script here. And I think it looks really nice too. He has impeccable taste when it comes to backgrounds especially, but the aesthetics overall just looks really nice. I think Derek is probably one of those people kind of like me that has a balance of right brain, left brain, and can kind of harness both. And so I like that. So let's zoom in here a little bit and take a closer look at this page. Now we can get a better look at this page here. So Derek says that DTOS is the name that I have chosen for my post installation script that will install Xmonad. And so here we got our install instructions here. And all we have to do really is just copy the code that he's got in here. So we're going to do a git clone, and then we're going to change directory into the DTOS directory, which is created after we do the git clone. And then we're just going to simply run the DTOS script, which is the /. Then we have additional information down here, how it handles updates. And of course, DTOS will update right along with your regular updates in Arch. And then we got all these keyboard bindings here. So he's really got a complete README file, which I really like. Sometimes I get on GitHub and README files are kind of sparse and lacking, but this is really complete. So I feel confident as somebody that's not familiar with Xmonad or many other window managers for that matter, going into this because of how well this is documented and laid out. So I'm really impressed by how this is laid out. This is really well done. Double thumbs up already. So I'm going to get in here and let's get started. I'm going to load in an Arch distro that I already have installed. It's a newly installed version of CachyOS. And here we are. So I'm just going to boot right into Cachy real quick. And this is the XFCE version. I thought it might be a little bit more compatible to have an XFCE version here of Cachy rather than the KDE. To me, it just seemed like it'd be a little more friendly. So I'm just going to close that and let's just get right down to business. So I'm going to go in here in the menu here and open up the terminal. And at the same time, I'm going to open up a CachyOS, a Cachy web browser here. And that way we can navigate out to the DTOS website again. I'll just slide that off to the side a bit. And then I'll come up here and we'll just go out to Distrotube, distro.tube/DTOS. And that should take us there. And it didn't, because I spelled Distrotube wrong. Let me try that again. Let's put a T in there. That ought to work better. And there we go. Cool. So now this looks really simple to do. So I'm just going to go back and forth between the terminal. So now in here, we're just going to simply copy and paste stuff in here. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we have base devel. So I'm going to do a sudo pacman-s. And let me just make that a little bigger. There we go. That should make it easier to see. And so it'll be base-devel. And I already have it on mine, but I just kind of want to go through the steps. And so here it would install base-devel if you don't have it, but I do, so I'm just going to hit N. Another thing we want is we want to have git. So sudo pacman-s space and then git. And of course, if you need both of them and you know that, then you can put base devel and then a space and git in there and just do it all in one line. But those are the two things you want to make sure you want to have right up front. So I'm just going to copy this and then paste that right into the terminal and hit enter. And so that should have created a directory called DTOS. So I'm going to change into there. And there it is. It downloaded everything into that directory. Now I'm going to type in ./DTOS, and that is the script. So this is going to run the script, and it's a good idea to do an update on your Arch and make sure your Arch is updated ahead of time. However, it is kind of updating it right now. I didn't do that, so that's a reminder that that's a good idea to do before you run the script, just to avoid any possibility of problems. So now it looks like it's kind of installing our updates, and then when it gets past that, it should go into the DTOS install. And I think we're just about there. Nice. And here we go. So here it's got our installing DTOS intro screen. It says this is a script that will install what I sarcastically call DTOS, DT's operating system. It's really just an installation script for those who want to try out my tiling window manager configurations and associated programs. You'll be asked to enter your sudo password at various points during this installation, so stay near this computer. DT, Derek Taylor, aka Derek Taylor Swift. Distrotube, just kidding. And here we got a warning. While this script works on all Arch-based distros, some distros choose to package certain things that we also package. Please look at the package list and remove conflicts manually. And so I'm just going to take a chance and move right on, but I do got this warning that says that my locales have not been set. So that's something I might need to do, but it tells you right here that you can, that both the lang and LC underscore C type variables are not set. And then it even gives you where you need to edit, which is the /etc locale.conf. And both entries should be the same. And then after that, you just simply run sudo locale-gen, reboot, and you're good. So let's give it a try. Nice. So I'm just going to go back in my, open another instance of my terminal, and we'll just bring that over here, and we'll do exactly what he says. So in my case, I don't have the locales set. So I'm kind of glad. That way we can kind of do this. So I'm going to do a sudo nano /etc/locale.conf and then authenticate. And here we go. So here we can see that our lang is set just fine, en_us.utf-8. So we just want to add in the LC type. So I'm just gonna kind of arrow down and make a space here. And then underneath the lang, I'm just going to type in LC_C type. And so this is all uppercase, and then equals. And then we're just going to copy the same thing from lang up above, en_us.utf-8. And then I'm going to save that. I'm just going to press Control C to save that because everything else looks fine. Cool. And then from here, I'll just exit out, and then we'll run that locale gen. So I'm going to type sudo locale-gen, and this will update our locales. So that's good. Now all I got to do is reboot, and then when we rerun the script, it should be all happy. And through the magic of video, I'm going to reboot in just a flash. So close all the windows, jump down here, hit restart, and then I'm back just like that. So there we go, cool and groovy. And there's our splash screen, so I'll just close the hello app there, jump in, get back into our terminal, and we can pick up where I left off. So I'm just going to use my up arrow key, and then after I enlarge it a bit, so I'll just use my up arrow key here, and when I do that, that'll let me just kind of go back in time to what I typed before. So first I want to just CD into my DTOS folder, and then I really didn't have to use my arrow key for this. It would have been faster to just type it, /DTOS, password, and here we go. So we're back in, and back to the beginning here, we had our install. So we're just going to hit continue again. And then OK, and there's a reminder that the DTOS install script is currently in public beta testing, so there's almost certainly going to be errors in it. Therefore, it's strongly recommended that you do not install this on production machines. It is recommended that you try this out in either a virtual or on something else that's not production. Okay, so here we go, and now it's kind of updating the keys and so forth. And do you wish to install? Yes. So I'm going to hit yes there. And that all looks good. So that's a big list of all the stuff it's going to do. And we'll just let that run. And so now this script is just automating all the things that we would have to do if we wanted to set this up just like Derek's desktop. And so this makes it really painless. And if I don't screw something up, it should work. But to me, it looks like it's just going to take care of everything. And so now it's asking if I want to install Awesome because it just installed XMobar. And I'm going to say no to that because I don't really need Awesome or Qtile. So I'm going to say no to that. But I think that's very cool that you can do that. I think that's a new addition to Derek's script. So if you like Qtile or Awesome, you now have some alternatives. And I think that is great. So now it's going and it's kind of completing the install here and getting everything put in. And as you can see, there's a lot of Haskell references in there because Xmonad is Haskell based in their configuration and so forth. So that's kind of cool. That's a language I haven't really explored. I've worked with a lot of other languages like Python and C++ and Free Pascal and Pascal/Delphi. Visual Basic. Oh man, I think I've hit almost all of them. But yeah, I never messed with Haskell. I'll have to play with that sometime. And so we're getting through here, and now it's doing a recompiling, it looks like, and now we can choose from our shell. Nice. Personally, I prefer seashells, but I'll settle for fish. So that would be your main shell. Of course, the other shells, I think you have access to as well. So now it's asking if I want to reboot to get my DTOS, and yes, I do. So I am rebooting. So here we're at our cache menu again. Just going to hit that. And there it is. Wow. I love it. This is really a nice login screen here. Way nicer than the one I had. So I'm going to type it in here, my username, password. And then if we go up here, we can see our session. And currently it's still in the XFCE. So I want to select the DTOS or Xmonad, actually. And so we'll just log in. And that's a beautiful theme. That is really nicely done. Good job, Derek. Really cool. And so here's our Xmonad. And we have our Conky showing. And then there's our CachyOS hello screen. And so, yeah, I guess we could take those out of the auto start if we don't want those loading there because probably don't need that really. And that was actually a nice little intro as well. I kind of like the little intro sound that was playing. That was cool. Typically, I find the intro sounds on a lot of distros that have them to be really kind of annoying because the sounds are usually pretty obnoxious. But I like that one. That one is actually one I would keep. So again, another nice little detail. Seems like Derek is really good with the little details. I think that's cool. And then up here at the top, XMobar, I think that's called, based on DMenu, I think. So here we got all these different little sections here, dev, www, doc, vbox. So you can run like different applications in these different little sections. They're kind of like little virtual desktops almost. And then here we got our other items here. And this is our calendar. And it looks like that's opening up Doom Emacs here at first. So it's asking if I want to download some emojis. And I think that's normal for the first time. So I'm just going to go with a yes on that and let it do its thing. And it's letting us know that the directory doesn't exist. Yes, I want to do that. So let's hit yes. And so now it's going to download about 282 packages, and then Doom should be all set up, I think. And I think I quit. Whoops. That's all right. I can come back to that anyway, because we did all the install stuff. But what else do we got? So here's our XMobar. And over here, we got a bunch of keyboard shortcuts, a lot of the basic essentials there. And maybe I'll just slide over a little bit here. So if we want to open a browser or open this launcher here, we simply press Super Shift Return. And so we can get in here and we can see a list of all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to just type in Cachy because I want to open the Cachy browser. And I believe the keyboard shortcut to that would just be simply the Super B for browser. But here's our CachyOS, and I'm just going to jump out to the distro.tube/DTOS web page there. That way we can just kind of keep centered a little bit. So here we go. And on the DTOS website, of course, they also have a ton of keyboard shortcuts that you can refer to, which I really like. Now, I just opened up the terminal by pressing Super Enter, and now we have the terminal. So now you can kind of see the tiling. So if you're kind of like me where you're not really familiar, then you can do that. And then I'm pressing Super 1, 2, 3, 4. So every time you press a number with the super key, it'll kind of move you along. So now if we jump out, let's just have the terminal here and go in the terminal, and I'm going to just do a user sudo usr/bin/emacs --Daemon and then ampersand, because one thing I remember from Derek's recent video is you need to run that one time, I believe, to get the Emacs going. And let's just kind of jump back in there because I kind of got off track a little bit. Now to launch the Emacs, I believe it's just Super E for Emacs. And let's just press that. And it didn't do anything. Oh, there it is. Okay. My bad. So there we go. We got Doom. And that looks cool. And I really don't know much about Emacs at all. I've never messed with it. But it does look pretty cool if you do stuff that Emacs would be helpful for you. So now let's give it a background. So this is kind of a cool background here, but I know Derek is really great with backgrounds. He collects a lot of really cool stuff. So if I remember from Derek's video, I think it's Super P. It'll bring up that prompt there. And then I'll be able to kind of select whether I want it random or to set something. So here it is. And I'm just going to go arrow down to random. Going to hit that, and wow, what a cool background. I am liking that. Sweet. All right. Derek never disappoints. I'm going to just go right with that random coolness background there. That cityscape kind of done in a impressionist style. So if we took a look at our sections up here on XMobar, you can kind of see we got our dev and www. So you can actually open any of these things in different areas. I just did a super enter to open up our terminal here. And so while I'm here, I'm just going to do a quick update, sudo pacman-syyu, because I want to download some software and just want to make sure this is all updated. And we'll just say yes there. If we go over to Super 2 and go into the www, we could have like Cachy browser open here with a Super B for browser. And now we can just switch back and forth. And I think that's kind of cool. That's really handy there. And that's our sys. And a lot of these apps will just open automatically under the category that corresponds to it, which is another thing I think is cool. So if I bring up my menu again here, Super Shift Enter, I'm going to open up PCManFM, but this is actually the file manager that was installed with the DTOS install script, and very nicely themed. I love the icons and just the overall look here. So this is great. And of course, this would be the latest and greatest. We're running PCManFM 1.3.2 as of the time of this video. And then jumping back, we can just scroll through these different sections here, just using our super number keys, 1 through 9. We'll cover all of these. And I like the fact that you can have all these kind of open and these different sections here. So you can tile them or flip over to different sections. This is our graphics section. Let me just open up Gimp real quick. I'm just going to select that, and that should open Gimp right here in this window. And there it is. And if I would have been over in the www window, it still would have put it here under GFX, which is very cool. And I just pressed Super Tab to change the layout to monocle. And then here's our tab layout and spirals, 3 categories, tall, and back to monocle. Monocle will just kind of fill the whole screen. So if you don't want the little space there, a margin. And same here with your console. If you want to change the look there, same thing, just Super Tab. And let me just open PCManFM again. Cool. And so now if we change our layout, we can kind of see the results a little bit. So monocle, we'll just show the first window. And then we have our tabs. So now we got a tab layout. We can tab back and forth between the 2 open windows. Or if we had 3, then there'd be 3 tabs and so forth. And then our spirals, grid configuration, you can just keep flipping through here. 3 rows, so you can have them by rows, columns. Just every time you press the Super Tab, you kind of cycle through these different layouts. And tall, I believe, was the default, was where we were at in the beginning by default. So I think that's cool. Of course, I'm a way newbie when it comes to window managers, so maybe I'm just easily entertained. But that being the case or not, I think this really took the intimidation factor out of using a window manager. And the fact that you got that pre-configured config that's already just riced out to the max, I like that too, because that gives me a template that I can work and learn from, because I'm not real familiar with Haskell or most config files in window managers anyway. And luckily I have the edge of programming experience. However, having something that's already templated out for you, you can look at it and learn and have a great model to go by. And so then if I wanted to modify something else, maybe change the fonts in the XMobar or something like that, I should be able to do that right through the config. And speaking of fonts, I think XMobar just changed the format of their fonts here recently. Off the top of my head, I'm not really sure how that has affected anything. To me, the fonts look fine. However, they must have had some reason for changing it. And I'm not really familiar with XMobar anyways, or the DMenu even. The only experience I really got with Windows Manager is OpenBox. And one of my favorite using OpenBox is a distro called Archcraft. And Archcraft is a OpenBox distro that has really been all configured, kind of like DTOS. You know, it's just all created to look beautiful and takes all the pain, because if you ever installed OpenBox just all by itself, you pretty much see nothing. And OpenBox uses Polybar as opposed to XMobar, and I really like Polybar. It looks great, it's crisp, and just a really nice bar. But I gotta tell you, this XMobar here looks quite beautiful, and so I wouldn't feel intimidated at all by switching from Polybar to the XMobar, because of the way that Derek just kind of made this look so beautiful and easy to use. If I had to think of a downside with this whole script, I would be at a loss, because I can't think of one, at least not from the point of a new guy to Xmonad. But this is something that actually makes me want to use it. I'm going to dip into this thing. I'm sure I'm going to be finding myself, I'll probably even put it on my main computer as an alternative session that I can jump into, because I think it'll probably work very nice alongside XFCE. And if not, well, I think I've installed enough OSs to just kind of fix that. However, it really does have me intrigued. I think just the beauty and the aesthetics and the change of atmosphere. And of course, it's very friendly on resources too, compared to like the heavier desktops, especially something like GNOME, which uses a ton of resources relevant to a lighter desktop like XFCE or LXQt. And the tiling window managers do have a huge fan base. And I can definitely see the appeal to that, especially if you like to tinker. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of time for a whole lot of tinkering. But this is cool because someone did all the tinkering for me. And it just looks amazing. So DTOS, absolutely 2 thumbs up. And if I had 4 thumbs, I'd give you 4. So well done, Derek. I got to tell you, this just gets better every time. I took a quick look at this way back when it was first released, and I liked it back then, but now there seems to be really cool improvements in here because it's making that wow factor in me even bigger. And not to mention the fact that Qtile and Awesome has been added in there as an option for additional window managers. So if you're more familiar with Awesome or Qtile, now you got your choices expanded. You're not stuck in XMobar. However, XMobar here to me is very appealing. I love the quick reference conky there that I can learn my keyboard shortcuts for this in here. And then the fact that it's on the website, I love that too because there's a very comprehensive, very well formatted list right there on Derek's website there at Distrotube. Beautiful. So another 2 thumbs up to add to the 6 that I already did. Top notch. And if you want to experiment with a window manager, as Derek recommends, don't put it on a production one just yet until you're really confident. Load it into a virtual machine or on a spare laptop that you're not using, and then give it a go. You're going to love it. I know it. And with that, I hope this quick look at DTOS was helpful. And if it was, don't forget to leave that thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.